A poll out today by the Chartered Management Institute and shared with this programme has found that trust in the UK government to support the growth of the economy has fallen from 2% in December 2020 to minus 13% now. That means a majority of managers do not trust the government to support growth. There was a particular drop in London, with trust falling from minus 20% in December to minus 31% now amongst businesses. And that's pretty worrying, especially amongst small and medium-sized firms, with trust amongst managers in those businesses falling 9 points between the end of last year and the start of this. Well, let's talk with the chief executive of the group that ran that survey, Anne Francke. Good to see you this morning. Why do you think that confidence has dropped so significantly?
Well, the overall reason is the government's handling of the pandemic. And it isn't just the economic handling, it's the overall handling. And in fact, 3/4 of our survey respondents cited that as their main driver. Now, if you dig into that, we've heard on this program some of the things that people have been pointing out, that businesses have been pointing out. The lack of clarity, the lack of clear communication, consistent communication, and the need for a comprehensive plan that addresses just exactly how we're going to come out of this pandemic. What is the road to recovery that is actually includes all sectors of the economy and is targeted and recognizes those sectors such as travel and hospitality that have been hardest hit. So I would say that those are the main reasons driving this drop.
I mean, how problematic would it be, though, if government came out with a timed recovery plan and then those timings were broken because the situation wasn't improving as it should be? Would that prove problematic for businesses because it'd be built up to something that then didn't happen?
So what we know about good management is that you do admit uncertainties and you also acknowledge that these can change. And what I think is appreciated is when you have a clarity of a decision. So, for example, here's what we're going to do if it's X, and if it's Y, here's what we're going to do then. So you're laying out different scenarios, and that's quite important. And what has been happening is a lot of sort of last-minute decision-making. For example, the Brexit agreement, which, there was no clarity until the day before, the 30th of December, right? So it's that last-minute decision-making that needs to improve.
Is it possible to assess at this stage just how much damage is being done to the economy by what we've seen over the past 12 months?
Well, we do know that obviously we're having mass unemployment. We do know that people are having major underlying financial issues. We also know that there are major mental health issues. We are disrupting young people's schooling. So the impacts, the fallout of this pandemic is absolutely dire, and it affects everybody. So that's all the more reason to have a very inclusive plan. And I would say, as part of the rebuilding efforts, we need to make sure that we put managerial skills like clarity of communication at the heart of that rebuild. It isn't enough only to have the technical skills. We need to have people skills, listening skills to build out of this pandemic. Now we can, and the vaccination program is an excellent example of something that is well planned and is being well executed. We need more well executed endeavors to come out of this pandemic in a stronger position.
I mean, how much danger are we in then in terms of a recovery? I mean, there was all this talk initially of a sort of V-shaped recovery. That's what people were talking about. I mean, clearly we've gone into, I don't know, more of a W or something at the moment. But I mean, do you have confidence that whenever we do get out of this, that the economy can actually bounce back? Or are we going past the point of no return?
Well, obviously, people are talking about a double dip recession. And, it's very unfortunate. Britain is among the worst hit economically in this crisis, and also among the worst hit in health terms and in death rate terms. So we have a lot riding on this recovery. And I would say that we can recover, but it's all the more important that we actually take our recovery efforts seriously. We have to engage as many people as possible in that recovery, because being inclusive, as we were, for example, when we rebuilt this country after the Second World War, having those inclusive efforts is absolutely vital to making a success of it. And that means it has to be incredibly well managed.